Lot B26 and Lot B27 of Greenside Phase 2. The property is zoned PR1 Planned Residential. Staff recommends this case for approval contingent on addressing the technical comments on the plat and a submittal of the final signed Mylar.
Any questions? Okay, let's go to the next one.
Next is S032609. It's a final map approval for Riverwalk Phase 1. This is located at 250 River Chase Parkway East and zoned PUD. The purpose of the request is to create 57 residential lots and 6 common area lots, and additionally to vacate a 30-foot utility easement. Staff recommends this case for approval contingent on providing the surety bond in the amount of $118,900 and the submittal. We have received the signed Mylar this evening.
You have received it.
Yes, sir. We got that just this evening.
Any questions on this one? No? All right, Mac, you're up.
All right, next case we have is a conditional use case. This is for an event venue at 2084 Valleydale Road, titled Serendipity Hill. This particular event space is an existing office space at that particular address. And staff have reviewed the comments, and reviewed the plans that we had on that particular case, and it comes to you with a recommendation from staff for approval contingent on a few items. One, that the parking and sidewalk on the site are to meet the latest accessibility requirements. Two, that improvements to the driveway access are to be made in accordance with the traffic analysis that was submitted with the application. Three, that plans for site improvements are to be produced by a civil engineer and submitted for permitting. And finally, that the applicant would obtain a business license prior to opening. The comprehensive plan calls for employment center, office, light industrial development in this vicinity. And as far as compatibility with zoning is concerned, assembly buildings and event spaces do require conditional use approval in the PC zoning district, which is the zoning designation for this property. Just some additional notes. As of right now, we haven't received a communication from the RBA, the River Chase Business Association. So we would look for that prior to any permitting that was done in association with the events venue. We'll note that the applicant submitted confirmation from Shelby County's Highway Department that Shelby County concurs with the improvements that were recommended in the traffic study. And Shelby County does not require any additional work beyond what was called for in the traffic study.
Can you elaborate on that? Can you elaborate on what the requirements are?
I think in short, the traffic study calls for the entrance, the ingress egress to this site to be widened. And that's the only improvement that it calls for.
Like you talking about like a decel lane and an acceleration lane?
Just the driveway through.
Just the driveway width.
The driveway itself, and since Valleydale's Shelby County Street, we wanted their concurrence. So.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. You got a few zoning cases?
All right. We have a series of zoning cases. Two of these are zoning previously annexed properties. The first we have is for 3269 Monte Drive. This property is currently not zoned. It is completely surrounded by property that is zoned R1 under our zoning ordinance. and staff recommends approval. The comprehensive plan calls for traditional neighborhood development in this vicinity. Single-family residential R1 zone property would fall within that, and the property's use is in accordance with the R1 zone.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So is this undeveloped property?
No, there is a home already existing on the site.
So if I'm looking at it right, the ordinance zoning or annexing this into the city was passed in February of 2019. Why the delay in the zoning piece?
It was brought to our attention, I believe, with the item that we have next up on the docket.
Okay.
So we went through and looked at other previously annexed properties that had not undergone zoning as of yet, and this one popped up.
Okay, so y'all have done a review comprehensively or just in the specific area?
I'll say in this specific area, there could be another one or two hanging out there that we haven't gotten to yet.
Do we have a plan in place to do a more comprehensive review to find any of those that might be sitting out there?
I will get with our GIS team and see if we can identify all of those.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, let's go to the next one, Mac.
All right, next one we have is for 3236 Pinehurst Drive. This is another property that was previously annexed, and we are looking for zoning to be implemented under Hoover's zoning ordinance. As with the previous one, this one is also completely surrounded by R1 property. It is property that is developed, and staff recommends approval. This particular vicinity in the comprehensive plan shows suburban neighborhood, low-density residential development, of which the R1 district would fit, and we recommend approval.
Okay. Any questions on this one? All right, the last one?
All right, the last one we have is property that is currently zoned R1 within the city of Hoover. The location is at 204 Shelterwood Circle. The applicant, Mr. and Mrs. Locker, are requesting that the property be rezoned to the RLSF, the Residential Legacy Single Family District. The desire of the applicant is to add an unenclosed covered front porch onto the front of the home. Some of you have been around long enough to recall that this particular zoning district, the RLSF, was created for this particular kind of application in older established neighborhoods where the owners are looking to reinvest in the property. A lot of the architecture in the Bluff Park area did not initially have front porches as a part of the home's makeup, and those who are owning property and looking to reinvest, front porches are a part of a lot of that in reinvestment. And in a lot of cases, with the R1 or the E2 estate single-family residential zoning in the area, doesn't accommodate for the additional space needed on the front of the homes to allow for front porch additions. And so to try to handle the influx of requests that we were getting to allow for front porch additions, we created the Legacy Single Family Residential Zone. And what that does, in essence, it maintains a setback reminiscent of the R1 zone for the enclosed climate control portion of the home, but it allows additional footage off of the front for covered but unenclosed front porches. So that is what the owner is seeking to do. The residence currently sits a little further back from the street than the 35-foot front yard setback that's required in the R1 zone. The front porch addition would put them about 5 feet into that 35-foot front yard setback. For the sake of time, to get the project started, the applicant applied for and received a variance from the BZA to permit an unenclosed front porch being able to extend into that setback. What the BZA did as a condition of approval is direct Mr. Locker to make an application to rezone the property to the Legacy Single-Family Residential District. At the end of the day, should this board and the city council approve the rezoning to the Legacy Single-Family District, the variance request and the granting of that variance would become a moot point. The property would be conforming to the zoning criteria, which is ultimately what we want.
If it's covered and enclosed, would that be allowed? Just covered but unenclosed?
Has to remain unenclosed.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, we got about 15 minutes.